everybody. Good morning and welcome in. It is Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy in association with our good friends at Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. I'm John Longshore. He is Barry McKnight.
Yep. I've got a little spot on my wall that I have marked where I can look at, where it looks like I'm actually looking at you. But here's the hook. John and I are 40 miles apart, 50 miles apart maybe, and been working together for 28, 29 years. Most of the time we have been in different locations.
Most people say that's the secret to our success.
Yeah, that's right, is that we have made it this long because we didn't have to deal with each other person to person. And there may be some validity to that. We don't agree on a lot, and that's part of it as well. But our moods are improving. John, we are less than 10 days away from the start of the college football season. Less than 10 days away. This coming weekend, John, scrimmages here and there, heavy practices, physicality and all that in the college football world.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the last weekend until late February without college or professional football.
Well, you know, last night, somebody was asking me about that, and I knew week 0 was coming up. It is next Saturday, actually.
Yes.
And I just did not realize how many games were going to be played. If I'm looking correctly, there will be 5 games a week from this Saturday, beginning at 11 a.m. from Dublin, Ireland, and wrapping up out in Honolulu at 6:30. So we get a little taste next Saturday. I got to tell you, just looking at the card right now, am I going to be planning my Saturday around this mixed bag of games? Probably not.
Teeth suck. Back
Probably.
to back.
Wow.
Obviously, you have missed a few. There are 9 college football games. Obviously, you have not taken into account. Can I guess? Incarnate Word at Nichols.
Oh, those kind of.
You have not taken into account Tarleton State at Portland State. I doubt. The MEAC SWAC Challenge, North Carolina Central versus Southern. That was not on your sheet.
Well, actually, to give credit where credit is due.
Yes.
I am on the ESPN college football schedule site.
Oh.
And ESPN only has 5 games listed. 4 of those 5 have a posted point spread in the game as of this moment. The UNLV Idaho State game does not. Maybe that'll be later. But Incarnate Word, Nichols State, Drake, whomever. No. And these 5 games, like I said,
Opening weekend. A week from this Saturday, there will be televised games, 2 of them, as a matter of fact, on ESPN. One of them from Dublin, Ireland. One of them from Montgomery, Alabama. The FCS kickoff, Cal Davis versus Mercer. There will be 2 games on ESPN, 2 games on ESPN2. A game on Fox.
Yeah.
That'll be Fresno State at Kansas, unveiling Kansas's brand new breathtaking football home stadium. CBS, and I'm still got to figure this out. CBS, I mean the whole CBS, not CBS Sports Network or anything. CBS is carrying Stanford at Hawaii at 6:30.
From the Clarence T.C. Ching Athletics Complex.
Yes.
I'm familiar with a T.C. Chin.
Yeah.
Who double hit it in the U.S. Open.
And the Phantom is familiar with the phrase cha-ching.
Yeah.
But T.C. Ching?
No,
Clarence.
T.C. Ching. Clarence, for people that didn't know, that's Doc MBA's first name, actually. That's his real first name.
Really?
He never uses it.
His name's not, well, I don't blame him.
Yeah, what do you say, Clarence?
And then ABC next Saturday, not this, but next.
Yeah.
will present the North Carolina Central Southern game at Atlanta in the MEAC SWAC Challenge.
Okay.
Getting ready.
All right. So, Barry, how about this, though? 5 games on Saturday. Then the following week, it kicks off on Thursday. Normally, 1 or 2 games. There's like 20 games on Thursday. First one's at 4:30 in the afternoon down in Tampa. Boise against South Florida at 4:30 in the afternoon on the 28th. Then you just got a bunch of games. Missouri's playing that night on the SEC network. Nebraska at Cincinnati that night. Then Friday, it's probably 15 games on Friday. Auburn's playing on that Friday on Fox. Georgia Tech and Colorado on that Friday. These games a little bit more interesting, I would say. And then we get into Saturday with ESPN showing Mississippi State at Southern Miss. Is ESPN ever broadcast a game from Hattiesburg?
I don't know.
Like the real
ESPN? But I have, and they call it The Rock. It is no frills.
I can imagine.
If I'm Mississippi State, I'm saying, hey, ESPN.
Yeah.
If we can just get in and just get out, that's like that. That reminds me, and nothing against Southern Miss. One of my new favorite offensive linemen in college football plays at Southern Miss. Look for him to win the Outland this year. I'm picking him. But it's like that time when you're in high school and you're playing the field a little bit, John. You know what I'm talking about, playing the field a little bit. But then your mom says, hey, son, your cousin is coming in for the week and she doesn't know anybody in town. And you're like, oh, Mom, really? Her?
Come on, please.
Yeah, just take her out and show her around. You don't want to bring her around your buddies. Maybe she's not the most scenically pleasing person in the world, but you don't want to bring her around your buddies, and take her to your normal spots and all that kind of stuff. You just, all right. I tell you what, we'll go to a movie. Maybe
it's dark in there,
something like that. Yeah. That's Mississippi State at Southern Miss. Mississippi State's like, hey, ESPN, you don't have to televise that one across the nation if you don't want to. I mean, we're kind of.
To me, I thought that would be like an SEC network game or ESPN Plus, but man, the mothership's heading down to Hattiesburg.
Yeah,
man, that is awesome. So, it's getting here. There again, handful a week from Friday. If you want to check out Nicholls State and Drake and some of those other teams, Mercer, I think I heard you say.
Yeah, Mercer's in Montgomery. Get a ticket over at Crampton Bowl. It's going to be good.
Mercer playing Alabama again this year? Let me check that schedule. No, I don't think so. Wow, go figure. But it is here, and I'm looking forward to it. Baseball's kind of wearing on me, even though the Braves are losing. They win last night, by the way. I don't want to be dogging the Braves if they didn't lose.
Yeah. That one I don't
Wait
know.
a minute. It has gotten so bad that Barry doesn't even know what the Braves score is at 7:08 in the morning.
Unlike some people, I practice what I preach. I keep telling you, give up on the Braves. It'd be silly if I'm hanging on every pitch. If Josh Harris is off the Braves, then I'm off the Braves. By the way, I mentioned this yesterday. Mercer,
thanks, Bill.
this is
Bill
Mercer. Mercer is making its first visit to the state of Alabama on that opening weekend, the 23rd. They will be back in the state of Alabama nearly 3 months later on November the 22nd.
Oh, yeah.
At Jordan-Hare Stadium.
I knew they were playing somebody
against the
around
Auburn
here.
Tigers. Yes.
Was that a double dip? Play Alabama one year, Auburn the next. Mercer.
They should cut a deal.
These athletic directors ought to be embarrassed.
But here's the problem: Mercer ought not to be cutting a deal like that. Notre Dame ought to be cutting a deal like that. All right, we'll play you once and play Auburn twice. Or the other way around, we'll play Alabama twice and Auburn once. Can we get a package deal? It's like, when you get free fries with your burger,
Yeah.
If you buy our Super Kahuna Burger, you get a medium-sized drink free. Auburn or Alabama would be the medium-sized drink. That's what they ought to do.
I could see that. Yeah. Bill, I do not know where Tarleton State is. I've heard of it. I will say that, but I couldn't pick it out on a map. How about this, Barry? The Braves were down 6-0 and ended up winning 11-6.
There you go. Okay.
Yep. What the heck happened? Who were they playing? Gee whiz, man.
It was a I don't want to get everybody enthused because I know, I know the Braves fans. They're playing at New York.
The Mets, okay.
And New York had a big lead and everything. Braves end up winning it. A 9-run fourth inning for Atlanta. Now, it is true what Bill from Baltimore says. Braves were down 6-0. That was after the first 2 innings. They put a 9 spot on in the fourth and end up winning it. Don't get caught up in it. You're nothing to see here. Nothing to see. Don't start getting it. Tarleton State is in Stephenville, Texas. I think they're now in either the Conference USA. They're Division 1A now, or at least in transition.
That's an
who is it?
Tarleton State. That flows off the tongue easily. Barry, I will tell you this. Family's in town. My 2 daughters are in town. They're heading down to the beach today, and they wanted to go to Chuck's last night, so we certainly did. They love the sushi there at Chuck's and whatnot, and they had the WNBA on. And as I sat down and ordered a cocktail, I said, hey, Donovan, can you flip this? I mean, I'm not sitting here watching the WNBA. Goes, oh, yeah, my bad. Sorry. Flipped it over to the Braves game. I almost went, can you flip it back? But I didn't. And so I did watch some of the Braves game last night. I did see them start scoring some runs. And I sat there and well, I wouldn't say I watched it, but I glanced up at it from time to time. So technically, I did watch the Braves game last night. Not intently, not totally focused on it, but it was in the same room that I was in. How about that? That count?
Yeah. I don't want it. I'd rather have John say, I watched the Valkyries beat the Mystics 88-83, or maybe it was the Aces, the Las Vegas Aces beating the New York Liberty by 6.
Yeah.
I don't want we are no longer.
I didn't think I would ever see this day, ladies and gentlemen.
It killed me yesterday when Josh Harris said that the Braves have the 4th worst record in the major leagues. I did not know that. I looked, I said it can't be right, but it is right. Only 3 teams in the major leagues are worse.
Yeah.
The Atlanta
well,
Braves.
I'm going to tell you about one of them later. Oh, man, we were so close almost yesterday. Barry, John from Wetumpka gives us a breakdown of what happened in the game last night. Grand slam. How about that?
John can't get away from it. I'm trying our best to lead him away from the Braves. John from Wetumpka says Michael Harris at a grand slam. I did see that. That may be on the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel.
Could be.
Atlanta scored 11 unanswered runs. Great. Beat the Mets. Matt Olson tied the consecutive games in a row for the Braves, which is a pretty big number. John from
good.
Yeah, I saw the clip of the Michael Harris grand slam, but that's all I saw.
All right, Barry. JJ over in Atlanta says he's starting to feel giddy. Needs to see the first field goal attempt. I'm with you, JJ. I mean, I'm looking forward to the season, but I want to see it. I've heard all this. I've been talking about it for weeks now. Everybody's happy. Everybody says everything's looking good. I mean, Auburn, Tuscaloosa, everything's looking great. I got to see it. I'm feeling it, but I got to see it.
Is there hidden meaning in it? Man, I still can't wait to see that first field goal attempt. Normally people would say touchdown. Can't wait to see the fabled Crimson Tide crossing that goal line. Nope. Can't wait to see them falling short on 3rd down and 3 and have to bring on Connor Talty to salvage points. Okay.
Yeah. Hey,
Bob from Pike Road. All right, anybody got a screenshot? Get your scrget ready.
I've already taken a picture.
Smile and wave. Here we go. So everybody can get a good picture of us. Write this down. Take a picture. Get out your phone. Record this. Bama will finish the 2025 regular season at 11-1, SEC champions. And a number 2 seed in the college football playoff, RTR, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. I got it, guys. I need more. I need more. JJ says, man, I can't wait to see that first field goal attempt.
Maybe it's an extra
from Pike
point.
Road says, man, I cannot wait. You mark it down. The Crimson Tide will be a number 2 seed in the college football.
Yeah.
Where's the national championship
Well,
talk, Bob? Where's the hoisting of the trophy?
Just got to get into the playoff. I get it. I think JJ's talking about an extra point instead of a field goal.
I don't know, though. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Bob from Pike Road, normally he's talking Natty. He's talking Crystal Trophy. Now he's just talking number 2 in the college football playoff. JJ says, man, first field goal attempt, cannot wait. Woo, it's good.
Seed's not that. If you're one of the first 4 seeds, you're in good shape. That's kind of what you're looking for. As a matter of fact, I think Alabama won the Natty as the 4 seed in the 4-team playoff one year, if I'm not mistaken. I get them all mixed up, Barry. It's hard to keep up with them all, but I do believe that they were a number 4 seed. All right, when we come back, I mean, what in the heck
wide world of sports?
Yeah, I mean, something has hit me. A couple of things that I want to get to on our what's on our hot list today of topics. At the bottom of the hour, our man Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, will join us. We'll find out what's going on over on the plains. Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market at the top of hour 2. And Barry will continue our tour around the SEC. We're heading out to Norman, Oklahoma to check on the Sooners. Our man Jack Shields, who's been on with us several times, will give us an update on Oklahoma and Coach Venables and what's going on out there.
We got a lot going on, locked and loaded on the No Voodoo episode 224 edition of Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
On the basketball court, the soccer pitch, or even the golf course, your crew brings their best not just for the win, but for that post-game celebration. When victory tastes like Michelob Ultra, it's worth every drop of sweat. And if you don't win, you'll still get the beer. It's just on you. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information. Okay, welcome back in. About 18 minutes past the hour on this Thursday with Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light, in association with our good friends at Yellowhammer News. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Helps with the algorithm, they say. And you can certainly check us out on Facebook and YouTube. There's content on X and Instagram. Listen to us on Spotify and Apple. Check it all out. We greatly appreciate it. All right, Barry, in the what the heck's going on department, does Rush Probst just sit around waiting for the phone to ring? I mean, I see this story. Some school had to get rid of their head coach, Coosa Christian. And who do they go to? Rush Probst. I mean, this guy's coached every school in the state, it seems like.
Yeah, he's got a certain zest for living. The former head coach was suspended for this season. And if he had not been, then the team would have not been able to play this year. I guess it's pretty serious. But Coosa Christian, in comes Rush Probst. Now, the bad thing is that he has gotten into some trouble in his private life. He's experienced a few highs and lows in his private life. The professionally, he has been at, like John said, at a lot of schools. He's been at coach in Georgia. He was a coach at Hoover when Hoover had, what was it, 2-a-days or something like that on HBO. And if you got him as your coach, you better be prepared to pony up a lot of money for facilities. He's pretty much going to do anything he can to win games, but that's the good news. He does win a lot of games. And, people, even at the high school level, even at the private Christian school level, if you win a lot of games, John, they're willing to forgive some
I guess so. And same thing in college. I mean, if you're winning, you can play all the golf you want. But yeah, I mean, what's going on off the field? And, I've never been to one of his practices. I've never been to one of his games. I did see a little of that series that they had 2-a-days, whatever it was called. I think MTV did it. I ought to tell you
that was it. That was it.
But I'm thinking, really? I mean, are you selling your program out just to win? It doesn't matter who's doing it. I don't know. I remember, Barry, that was maybe 10 years ago, maybe not that long.
Right.
They were going to try to start up a school similar to IMG Academy up in Prattville, somewhere in Autauga County. He was going to be the coach. Some backers had put in some money. It never got off the ground.
Never did. Never did. I remember that.
Yeah. But that story kind of surprised me. I'm thinking, man, this guy's been all over the place. I think he's coached in Georgia for
Am I right? Is it Colquitt County in Georgia? But he won there.
Yeah.
And look, the guys who play for him, or they win and everything. A lot of them love him to death. He was been the head coach at Pell City. He's been Colquitt County High School in Moultrie, Valdosta, Hoover. Heck, he played John Parker Wilson.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
for him.
He sure did.
So, yeah, he's had some controversies. His zest for winning, his zest for living.
Yeah. I don't know if he's ever been to a bullfight before, but I hear what you're saying.
On acid or not. So, what does this say, if anything, about Coosa Christian, who I have not heard of?
I mean, Coosa County's north of Montgomery.
That's got to be not maybe one of the larger schools.
It's like if you're going to Sylacauga from Montgomery, you go through Coosa County, if I'm not mistaken. So that one surprised me. You're obviously a radio play-by-play man, been doing it for decades. I did not know this. Corey Reamer will take over sideline duties for the Alabama Radio Network.
Well, nobody knew it until I think it was earlier this week that maybe it was yesterday, the first edition of Hey Coach.
Yeah.
Chris Stewart mentioned that. Damian Square, I thought, did a good job. I love it because, he'd get into a conversation from the sidelines up with Tyler Watts up in the booth, and, they talk ball. I mean, talking ball. We need to get more leverage on the defense. And the fans are like, can you just be like Jerry Duncan and just say I can shoot Smokey from over here if I had my hunting rifle or something like that?
Yeah, man, those were the days.
I thought Damian Square did a good job. The thing is Damian Square is now an assistant coach on Scott Cochran's staff at the University of West Alabama. So he's going to be busy on Saturdays. We've had Corey Reamer on the air with us.
Yes.
Corey's been a guest of ours, and he's impressive as heck. I liked that guy. I think he'll do a really good job.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing what he's got going on. And crazy about Chris Stewart. I think he does just a phenomenal job.
He's great.
There again, is it Tyler Watts or John Parker Wilson, the color analyst? I know they both done it.
Yep.
Is JPW still the guy? I mean, I guess. Should I know that? Maybe
I think it is John Parker Wilson.
Yeah.
They're, like I said, they're all the same guy.
Yeah. Tyler, I think, does the post game show, or used to. Yeah, I think he does. Look, they're kicking off in a week and a half. I'll know then.
No, John Parker Wilson. Tyler Watts replaced him. John Parker didn't do it last year. Yeah. John Parker didn't do it last year. It was Tyler Watts last year, but it was John Parker Wilson before.
Okay. All right. Well, they're all good. They all do great work. I'm impressed with all of them.
There you go.
But Barry, I haven't gotten into my driveway listening to the games on radio mode yet. That's coming. But I hadn't, it's been a long summer. I'll get into that in a couple of weeks.
His birthday, famously, is December 23rd. Will somebody buy him a radio? He's not in radio anymore, but even if he was the only radio guy I ever knew that didn't own a radio except the one in his car.
I kind of like going out in the car. It's kind of my just peaceful place. I can kind of get away. Not that I want to get away from anybody, but, kind of turn the AC on a little bit. Or if it's a nice day, I'll open up the sunroof and I'll just kind of sit there. If it's a late afternoon, early evening game, I usually go out there with a cocktail and maybe ease the seat back a little bit and turn it on and listen to some games. Yeah,
John's a car drinker. Yeah. Honey.
Well, not when it's moving.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Unless somebody else is driving. Yeah.
The little woman looks out of the window. She hears a little beep, beep.
Yeah, that's not good.
Now. And he's out there. He's got a Bud Light, honey. Bud
I
Light.
did that one time, Barry. You're talking about a look.
Stink.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, I went beep, beep, and nobody came to the door. And then, like a minute later, beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
That makes
me wince.
Well. Yeah, that
right there.
But she did bring me another one. She was nice about it. Yeah.
That one time, though.
Yeah.
That was it.
Barry, not only does Bob from Pike Road, but the VIP River Region Straw text hotline tells us Coosa Christian is in Gadsden.
Okay.
I thought it was in Coosa County.
Why would it not be? Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on, people.
Okay, Gadsden. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
There you go. Now, what they have done is they have bought themselves some publicity. Coosa Christian will be all over AL.com. Yeah, they a bunch of publicity for Coosa Christian. Will it be? They'll win some games. He is a really good coach.
That's right.
But some of the off the field stuff is what's really hurt him.
Bill, I cannot listen to the Braves in my car because the Braves aren't on radio in this market. So I can't do that. And yes, Chris, you're right. When the neighbors drive by my house, they go, there he is again. Listen to the Albs.
Next door neighbors looking over. Missouri comes back late. Brady Cook comes from the hospital last year, leads Missouri to the comeback. They get the go-ahead touchdown. Neighbors are looking over at the Longshore estate. Yeah, there he is. See him? He's in the car right now. Yeah, he's beating the roof. Yeah, that's him. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
All right, our man Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, set to join us here in about a minute or so. So maybe a good time to take a little bottom of the hour break.
He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. Thursday's show, it's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small. From a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. For a successful stint in the great outdoors, pack accordingly. Place heavy essentials near your spine for stability in rough terrain, with light items near the bottom. Now, you may be wondering, where does the Bush Light go? In your stomach. Bush. Head for the mountains. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023, Anheuser-Busch, Bush Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market offers the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of Mexico with deliveries daily. Snapper, grouper, pompano, flounder, copia, along with medium, large, and jumbo shrimp, hand-picked crab meat, and chucked oysters. They can even cook your order for easy, quick pickup. The Destin Connection can make a po' boy with any of their seafood items that folks in New Orleans rave about. Go by and see them at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call 288-4272 for pickup orders.
Okay, bottom of the hour here on this Thursday. So glad you're with us here, whether you're watching live or at your convenience, because we're streaming 24/7. You can check us out, Facebook, YouTube, yellowhammer.com, Instagram, X, Spotify, Apple iTunes. We're there. You can check it out. We greatly appreciate that. Hey, Barry, joining us right now is our man Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover on the Plains. Auburn, of course, in full swing of preseason camp. Jason, good morning. How are you?
Good, guys. Good, guys. How about y'all?
Doing really well. First of all, just a general vibe from practice since the last time we visited. What's the feeling?
Yeah, I think it's just continuing what we felt early on, which is that the defense has been pretty stout so far, and it's been probably maybe the biggest surprise to me, because I thought, now I say that, but defense usually ahead and early in camp, because you can throw a bunch of stuff at the wall on defense, while offense you're trying to just focus on executing the play, and you're not checking at the line of scrimmage, doing all that stuff. But I think athleticism on defense and just the numbers of guys, to me, is what stands out and has kind of been the storyline so far.
I wanted to ask you about a particular player, excuse me, offensively. I believe he was the number one transfer wide receiver, Eric Singleton from Georgia Tech. How's his camp going?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, he was, really good in the spring, comes in and he's just a dynamic guy. So this is, we saw kind of glimpses of that from Malcolm Simmons last year, but Eric Singleton's a guy that's probably, I would say he's probably one of the faster guys in this league. So he'll be in return game as well, kickoff return, maybe punt return. But he's a guy that gives you a different dynamic in the receiving game, because he can take the short one and make somebody miss and take it down the field, but he can also stretch the field deep. So he's been, I think, a guy that adds an extra dimension to the offense, because he complements what was already a pretty good receiving group.
I want to go back to the defense for just a moment, because you had written something at auburnundercover.com about DJ Durkin on the defense coordinator and the job that he has done to this point. He's done a really good job, but you mentioned, the look to take the next step for this defense. Where can the improvements come from there?
Yeah, I think you look in creating turnovers is probably one of those. Last year they only created 13 turnovers, and so you start talking about getting off the field, getting the ball back to your offense is such a big deal, and you start thinking about elite teams, and you think about Alabama and Georgia when they're at the top of their game. Not only are they getting turnovers, but they're scoring points off turnovers, and they're the pick six or fumbles or whatever. To me, that's such a big part of things. Can you get to be a defense that creates negative plays and does some of those things? So that's the next step for me. I thought they were pretty solid in most areas last year, but you start talking about, can you do that, and can you get off the field on third downs? And so normally both of those areas come back to pass rush. Can you get after the quarterback? And I thought, we're talking about, I thought last year that was the difference for like an Alabama defense that wasn't quite as good as it maybe it had been in the past as that area. And I think that's such a big deal. It was probably the same for Georgia too. They did not have those guys where you go, man, third down, you're in trouble. Can you get to be a team like that? I think that's the big step.
Jason, earlier this week, it was announced that one of the offensive coaches is going to call first down plays. The other is going to call third down. Who's calling second and fourth down?
So that's not true.
Okay, there we go.
Yes. So every coach in the country, because I saw Lane Kiffin retweet this, there's people in the box for a reason. So they're telling you, hey, here's what we see. You'll have coaches who come up with a plan on first down. So you got like, hey, here's 50 plays that we like on first down in the game. Here's 40 plays we like on third downs. And you have guys in the box going, hey, here's what I like in this situation. Hugh Freeze going, okay, I like that, or I like something else. Hugh Freeze is the play caller. And just like everywhere else, he has other people. They're not Steve Sarkey. I don't care who it is. Everybody has people telling him, hey, here's what we thought about in this situation. And if he likes it, then you're okay with it. But no, there's nobody else that goes, well, here's the play we're running. And he goes, okay, that's fine. That it doesn't happen. So yes, it was, I thought, very, very misguided in the way it was kind of presented from that thing. It's the same way we had this entire discussion for a year last year going, look, here's what's happening. And you look over on the sidelines and Hugh Freeze has a play sheet and he's calling a play. It's going to be the same way this year.
Yeah. Well, thanks for clearing that up because we've talked a lot about it.
Yeah, it is the week plan where you go, okay, when we're planning for Baylor, for example, if you're the coaching staff, you're saying, okay, all right, Nick, you're focused on here. What do we do? What we like on first downs in situations? Here's what I want. And so you go, all right, third downs, Ken Austin, because then you're giving guys the ability to really zone in on that area. Hugh Freeze is involved in all of it. And then when you get to the game plan and get to execution, then he's a guy that has the final say-so on play calling.
There you go. Because that has been a head-scratcher, just exactly how that was all apportioned anyway.
Mm-hmm.
One more defensive. Well, let me say it this way. I've heard, other than Jackson Arnold, I've heard these two names more than any other names associated with with preseason camp for Auburn. One of them John's already asked about, Eric Singleton. The other one's Jay Crawford. Flesh that one out for me.
Yeah, became a starter last year at corner. Yeah. Played really well, and he has kind of taken things to another level so far in camp. And he's so aggressive, and that's the thing about it. You look at him, and he's physical, but I think you look at him and Kay and Lee both, and I think going against these guys through the spring all summer, it's probably giving them a lot of confidence too to go, look, okay, we're just going to go up and take you guys on. And so they do it in the red zone. And I think probably the thing I would say is like he doesn't give an inch. And so when you have a guy like that, to me, it's really beneficial. So he's probably been, if you said, hey, give me the best player in camp for Auburn, it would probably be Jay Crawford.
How about that?
Just that guy. And, people were talking about they're going to play a bunch of different guys on defense. You'll rotate a little bit at corner, more interior defensive line and probably some linebacker stuff. But push comes to shove, you're like, okay, in crunch time, you want your best players on the field. And that's one of those guys that's going to be on the field for Auburn in big situations.
Jason used the term rotation, and obviously depth's a part of that as well. What's the difference between the rotation and the depth today from the first day Hugh Freeze stepped on campus?
It's there. There is one. I guess there was not an option to do that a couple of years ago. I started running through a list of guys and going, obviously Keldrick Falk's a guy that probably will lead this team in snaps if it's not Jay Crawford or one of those corners, because he's a guy that's going to play more than anybody else. But you look at even at defensive end, you go Morris Williams and Jared Smith's a guy that's really come on. And you think about Buck linebacker, and you go in Kieran Crawford and a whole probably 4 or 5 other guys. Defensive tackle, you lose some veteran guys, but you have Bobby Jameson, Travis back, and then Malik Blockton, and then you add, a couple of transfers and Dallas Walker and Jay Hardy, add James Ash, and then you go Jordan Crawford and Malik Autry, and all of a sudden and Zykevis Walker still there. You go, that's 8 guys, and I wouldn't be shocked to see any of the 8 on the field in a situation for this team, and that's for 2 positions. So you're going, you don't have Derek Brown, you don't have Nick Fairley, but I think you got a bigger group of guys that can play. And so I always think back to what's it supposed to look like. And what's it supposed to look like on the defensive line is when I think about like 1988, where you have Robert Big Goff coming off the bench, and you got Nate Hill, and you got other guys, and the drop-off isn't there. You may not be as top as Tracy Rocker and Benji Rowland right now, but I don't think there's a lot of drop-off either. So I think second quarter, fourth quarter, you have the ability to hold up and not falter maybe like you have in the past when you got – I think back to the Alabama game a few years ago where just like there was nothing left. You had nothing left to rush the passer, and you could have sent all the guys you wanted to, and they weren't going to get home. And so I think and I think that's something that should be different for this team.
Jason, earlier in the week, the Associated Press poll came out. Auburn is receiving votes. So not in the top 25. I think it's the 5th straight year that they have not been in the preseason top 25. Without knowing everything about everybody else on that list, does that feel like a miscarriage of justice to you? Is that probably legitimate? Does Auburn feel like a top 25 team to you?
I think they feel like a top 25 team in terms of talent, but I don't think it's a miscarriage of justice because they got to go out and prove it. And so I think you can have it both ways because that's what it is. It's just a human poll. And so do I feel like this is a team that has the talent to be a top 25 team? I do. But like I said, but you got to go out and earn that. And so they'll have the opportunity to earn it. But it honestly, if somebody said, hey, I think they're a top 25 team, I could say, okay, that's great. If they go, they got to show me first. I was like, well, I'm there too. So I'm a good either way.
Yeah. I do think though, at the end of the season, they'll be in the top 25. I'll be surprised if they're not.
Yeah. I think I think honestly for this team schedule, to me, honestly, it sets up pretty well, even though you have 3 of your first 5 on the road. I think back to last year, and you have all these home games, and you lose a couple of those, and you go, that's it. You know what's left on the schedule, and you go, you lost a couple games at home, it's over with. Now you go steal a couple on the road, and all of a sudden you go, man, you got games at home now. It honestly works in your favor. So I think if you go win a couple of these road games, give yourself a chance to kind of get back at home and feeling good, then I think the schedule sets up well when you think about, obviously Georgia and Alabama are going to be difficult no matter where you play them. But when you play them at home, then you feel like, okay, got a shot. And I thought even last year was the first time going on the road in, I don't know, a long time that you felt like an Auburn team was like, okay, they're competing in those games because it's been a long time since Auburn competed in Athens and Tuscaloosa. And I thought last year, for the most part, in those games, they did that in both places. And that's the first time in a while that happened.
Yeah. First, it's way too long, no question. Set up the second scrimmage. What's important about it? When will it be? And what will be the focus? What needs to be accomplished?
Yeah, it'll be tomorrow. I think it's going to be morning again.
Yeah.
They've been doing that. Next Friday will be the dress rehearsal scrimmage, and it'll be at the stadium. And they'll have pregame meal the same time they're going to have it before the Baylor game. They'll do all those things in a game type situation, but there won't be a whole lot of scrimmaging going on. Tomorrow will be the last one where you really get after each other some. And so I think this one is kind of that tomorrow's cut day in the U.S. Open, for lack of better terms, where you go, who can help us? Who do we feel like is ready to help us? Because you got to narrow down, and people like, yeah, you'd love to play 75 guys in every game and do those things. It's just not feasible to be able to prepare that many guys each week to do that. So you start to go, okay, who can we count on? Who's in our rotation? Who are we looking at? Who's if this guy gets hurt, who's first guy up? those are things that you'll kind of figure out now tomorrow. And as you start to shift focus, maybe the biggest thing, it will be after this scrimmage, you start to actually get to Baylor a little bit. And that's kind of one of the misconceptions. People like, they don't start working on Baylor for a month, because coaches have learned that if you do that, guys get tired of it after about a week and you're done. You'll start to narrow down the focus, though, on offense and defense to start figuring out what a plan will look like. And I think that'll be beneficial.
Yeah, going to be interesting as we get closer to the start of the game. Of course, Friday night. So I guess the team will leave out on Thursday to head out to Waco.
Yeah, it'll change the week a little bit. It'll compress a week. So they've been kind of this entire preseason. Friday has been scrimmage day, has been game week. So you do that, and then you become Saturday becomes an off day. You come back Sunday, and the week kind of starts on Sunday. So that's kind of how it's been going. Obviously this week changed a little bit because the first day of school is Monday. So you go kind of figure out how you work around the first day of school and doing those things. But it's gearing up now, and that makes things a little bit more exciting.
Final question, just a quick thought. Recruiting seems to have somebody's lit the candle. There's been some real news recently. Why has that happened? And what's it look like for the next little stretch before high school football season begins?
I think some of it was just there were some guys that were waiting on decisions later in the summer that they felt good about. So it just happened to some of the guys they felt good about happened to be later in the summer. So I got one of those that you're waiting on in Braylon Womack, 5-star safety from Mississippi, connection to Auburn. His sister is a softball player at Auburn. So that's a connection for this one. Ohio State, a bunch of other schools in the mix there. So kind of waiting on that one. And then, we talked about the schedule. I think if you can win a few games, I think there's guys that, there's nothing now guaranteed. You people talking about, flips. There's going to be a ton of guys that change between now and December. And if you're Auburn, if you can win a few games, you'll have a chance to have some of those guys as well. So
exciting times, no doubt about it. Jason, before we let you go, let our viewers and listeners know how they can find you and all your content. You're in a lot of different places. Let us hear about it.
Yep. Check us out, auburnundercover.com, part of the 24/7 network. YouTube page, all our videos, all the things. We'll have practice today, so we'll have some photos, videos from practice. We get Hugh Freeze after practice today and a few players, so we'll have lots of things today. And we've had all the assistant coaches this week, so there's lots of storylines, lots of things to talk about. So come check us out there at auburnundercover.com and follow me on Twitter at ITATJason.
Yep, says it right there on the squirrel underneath. Yep. Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, joins us. Always great stuff, Jason. Thanks very much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You too. Thank you. Have a good week. We'll talk next Thursday. Jason Caldwell, our man covering the Auburn Tigers. Really appreciate that. Hey, want to welcome in our good friends at Prattville Carpet, a longtime sponsor of the two of us when we were back in our radio days. Glad to have them back here with us on our new format. Ray Bowles and that great staff there on Cobbs Ford Road, right next door to Stiver CDJR. Go by and see them for all your flooring needs, whether it's carpeting, whether it's hardwood, vinyl, ceramic tiles. They've got anything that goes on the floor, I can promise you. And they have the best selection, best prices, best installation. It is Prattville Carpet in Prattville, Alabama. Go by and see our friends today.
Yep.
Barry,
2201 Cobbs Ford Road. You can give them a call at 285-8117. I have that phone number on my deathbed. Hopefully many years from now, somebody will be able to say, Barry, as I look up, Barry, can you tell me what the phone number is for Prattville Carpet? I'll be able to say 285-8117. Don't ever forget that one. We've said it about 300 million times in our lives. You need to learn it.
Man, Robbie is blowing up the River Region Straw chat line. I mean, wow, Robbie. Woo.
Not real sure about some of it, and it's all over the place. First of all, Robbie says, I listen to Braves baseball on 3 different apps. People in Montgomery can easily download. Braves Radio Network has the largest number of affiliates in professional sports.
Well, I can tell you one affiliate they don't have.
Yeah.
The capital city of Montgomery.
You can listen to them on the radio all you want to at the station here in Troy on FM. Robbie also says, I strongly believe Alabama will have strong special teams. DeBoer has always had strong special teams in his career, especially at Washington. That actually was in response to our buddy Bama Greg, who said, Bama concerns, no kicking game, punter or on field goals. This will cost Bama at least one game. Robbie says, no, he's always had great special teams. It's all ball bearings. And then in response to John's question to Jason about the how they apportion play calling, Robbie says, go read the article. There is certainly dysfunction on the Auburn coaching staff.
What article are you talking about?
Yeah, just like this. Robbie says, this man was a guest on McElroy and Kubelik this morning. What article? What man? What are you talking about? What man? That Jason Caldwell was? Or what man? And of course, Chris the Bammer says, Jason's on every Thursday, Robbie.
Yeah.
If that's what he's talking about.
Has been since the beginning of time. I really appreciate that.
He's not done yet. Robbie says, Keldrick Falk from Highland Home is definitely an All-American type defensive end linebacker. Falk and Eric Singleton are Auburn's two best players. Can't afford injuries to these two players. I actually agree with that. Yeah. But now, as hang on, here's some more lately. Yeah, I think Ohio State is ranked too high and Clemson too low in the AP poll. I like Alabama's number 8 starting point. Tough schedule, and this team needs to embrace being on the road starting August the 30th.
All right, Robbie, up early
with the obvious take here. Ty says, Robbie got up early this morning.
Yeah, he certainly did. And Barry, so did Range Pro, letting us know the BMW Championship starts in an hour. Caves Valley Club in Owings Mill, Maryland.
Yeah.
Part of the FedEx Cup. Range Pro on top of the PGA Tour.
I
think he's made a little coin off the PGA Tour this year. I just think, I'm not real sure, but I think he has.
That's not what we need from you, Range Pro. We don't need tee times. We need opinions.
Yeah. Who's winning?
You know, give us something other than the Caves Valley Club in Owings Mill, Maryland.
I want some winners.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
And a good question here, generated by all of this from Chris the Bammer, the Moon. He said, with all these new advertisers, the show needs to add an hour.
Okay.
That drumbeat continues. It continues.
We're I hate to keep using the same line, but we're working on a few things. So just be patient, Chris, and everybody else. We got a couple of ideas, a couple of things out there. We appreciate it. We're certainly thinking about it as well, but we greatly appreciate our sponsors and our advertisers. And really do. Without them, we would not be here. And without you, the viewer and the listener as well, we really appreciate folks checking us out.
Yep.
We've mentioned this a lot lately, Barry. You're kind of the techno guy, and you kind of send it all to me. And that information you showed me on Yellowhammer News's Facebook page, wow, blew me away.
We have thousands and thousands plural, many thousands of views on our Facebook page. And John has already gone over the the many different media that we are on. And our numbers on YouTube, really, really good. Our numbers on Facebook, extraordinary. Our numbers everywhere, extraordinary. Now, here's a pro tip for those of you, especially those of you in business. If you want to capture a few of these viewers, a few of these listeners, Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com. Just give us a shout.
Yep.
And we'll get in touch with you. We'd be glad to share some of our viewers.
That's right.
You know, those are your potential customers, and they're watching right now. We have thoroughly enjoyed it. We are nearing our 1-year anniversary on this show, and there have been some growing pains, but the key phrase there, the key word there is growing.
Yes.
There's no question. Everything tells us that we're really growing, from our advertiser base to our viewership to, the quality of our content and our guests, John. We're proud of it. It's getting better and better. And that's what life is all about.
It's what it's excuse me. It's what it's all about. Wow. Excuse me there. And all of our all of our listeners and viewers that check us out and are a part of the show via the River Region Straw chat line. We see more and more new entries on that as well. We greatly appreciate it. Dive in. Come on. The chat line's open for everybody. Don't be bashful. Come on, let us know what you think. We appreciate it.
It's like Delmar says on Oh Brother, Where Art There? Come on in. The water is fine.
Yeah, exactly. And as you get a little more comfortable with the River Region Straw chat line, you'll start maybe communicating amongst each other like a lot of people on the chat line do already.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they get into a little argument now and again over on the chat line. John and I have to come in and say, guys.
Yeah.
You'll get, do we have a Rodney Orr visit where Plainsman Preston has not pointed out that a webcam is only $48? I think not. Whew. Now, our compatriots, some really good broadcasters and some really good friends over at the Mic'd Up Sports Network.
Yeah.
They love us. They love us. So those my guy Les and all those people. I
love
mean,
those guys. Yeah,
fantastic guys. We appreciate the professional courtesy and the shout out there from you guys. That means a lot to us. And they're about to get real busy over there on the Mic'd Up Sports Network. Check them out.
Hey, Barry, I don't follow Lane Kiffin on X. Maybe I do. I don't know. I don't know who I follow on X, actually. I just tap it.
I don't know how to follow on it.
Yeah, and it pops up. But somebody on the VIP River Region Straw text line did send me Kiffin's trolling a few frees, and all he said was, so does a fourth coach call fourth downs? And I'm glad Jason cleared that up for us, because I read it, as I'm sure you did and everybody else does. This coach is calling first downs. This guy's calling third downs. Freeze can override them all. I'm thinking, well, who calls second and fourth down? But as Jason did so well, he explained it to us, so now we know what really is going on there. Awesome.
Yeah, and it's pretty standard. I had questions, too, because I don't think it was presented clearly.
Correct. Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, you look up there in the Auburn coaching box upstairs. That's what Jason's talking about, in the box, in the press box, in the coaching box, or the Alabama coaching box.
Actually, you're looking over in that, southwest corner of the stadium?
No way. See, they kick them out so the coaches can have the good spot. But you've got, 10 jillion people in there. 10 jillion people in there. A lot of them are tabulating stuff. They're keeping notes and all that kind of stuff. A lot of guys are strictly there to make sure that, hey, I'm not hearing them real clear in my headset. How do I go? Oh, I can fix that. But you also have guys who have those laminated play sheets. They look like a Waffle House menu.
Yeah.
And they'll say, on third down, 80% of the time that I've watched them on film, they'll send 3 blitzers on third down in down and distance of this, in this circumstance. All right, so we got to take care of that. We got to, throw where the blitz is coming from. And so, those guys have done their research and film study and tendency and stuff like that. What I don't understand, and I've never had a chance, at Troy, my booth is exactly next to the home booth. So I get to, take a look at those guys every once in a while.
Sure.
And it's orchestrated up there. What I can't figure out, and maybe we can get a coach on sometime and it can tell us, Freeze or DeBoer or whomever has got to have a jillion voices in his ear.
Oh,
because all those guys are talking. They're not all offensive guys. They're not all play caller guys. But, he's got his sheet. He's got somebody. And are they all talking to him? Is it like on Zoom where, one guy talks and his picture zooms up on the screen? Or I don't know. To me, it would be disconcerting to have more than one or two people in my ear.
So, Barry, when Rodney Orr joins us here in a couple of moments after we get back from our break, I'm going to ask Rodney this, but I want people to kind of think about it. We were producing our preseason Blitz TV program at CBS 8 yesterday that will be shown Saturday at 6 p.m. on CBS 8. We'll actually do it back-to-back Saturdays. The next 2 Saturdays, you can check it out. So, Robbie, write that down. Preseason Blitz, CBS 8, Saturday at 6 o'clock. And we're running some clips of Alabama as we're talking about the Tide. And we showed a clip from something that happened last year and something that was going on this week. Kalen DeBoer's lost some weight. He looks a little different now than he did last year in Tuscaloosa. I want to ask Rodney about that.
I think so too.
Not that he was ever a big guy. I just thought his trunk was a little thick. His trunk's not as thick.
You see him in street clothes, some of the stuff where he's getting a picture made with a fan or something like that. I'm thinking he's not as big as I remember.
Yeah.
I thought he was a lot bigger. Let's take a break. When we come back, it's Rodney Orr, the Tiger Insider, coming up on Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Extra, extra. The referral perks just doubled at Dixie. Now through November 30th, get $50 for you and $50 off for your friend when you refer them to Dixie. That's a $100 value. Current Dixie customers get 10% off any repair just for being loyal. Dixie Cares Plan members get an unbeatable 20% off. Plus, you can finance anything over $250. Double the rewards, double the savings.
Okay, back at it here, excuse me, on this Thursday, 14th day of August. Glad you're with us here on the program. Rodney Orr, the Tiger Insider, set to join us here in just a moment. Of course, brought to you exclusively by our friends at the Destin Connection Seafood Market. The freshest seafood direct from the Gulf arrives daily. And I'm telling you, you name it, it's the freshest out there. And David Scott and his group do a fantastic job with the freshest seafood available. There he is. There's the Range Pro. Got that big bag of Gulf shrimp. You see the snapper there in the showcase. Yeah. And, man, they do a great job at the Destin Connection Seafood Market. 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call ahead. Your order will be ready for pickup. 288-4272. And get ready. Just be thinking Labor Day weekend, Destin Connection could hook you up. So always plan ahead. Hey, Rodney Orr, the Tiger Insider, joining us from Tuscaloosa. How you doing today, Rodney?
Guys, how are the both of you?
We're doing really well. Obviously, the first question, your appraisal of the announcement Monday that Ty Simpson will be the starter in the opener against Florida State.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's something we all expected. He's been the most consistent guy, since spring. And it really wasn't a surprise. Ty's taken a lot of big steps. I think he had a great summer too. I think, even though he did have a solid spring, my understanding is he took some really big steps that the coaching staff was really pleased with over the summer. And then it carried over into camp, and he had a good scrimmage. He had a good solid scrimmage, talking to people who were there, people that played the position. In the NFL, they said, listen, he showed a lot of command in that scrimmage. So I think that solidified what, his position in that decision.
Also heard, Rodney, the offensive line had a really good day Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that early on, they pretty much took it to the defensive line. They controlled the line of scrimmage, and, but as the scrimmage went on, the defensive line really picked it up a notch, and they started generating some pass rush, but also did a nice job of tightening up on the run. Now, let's say this too. One of the top defensive linemen they have, a guy that I think has got a chance to be a standout this year, is James Smith. And James was out for the scrimmage. So that certainly, impacted them a little bit.
All right. Do you have any intel, or have they made any decision on who will be the backup?
Well, it sounds like they're just kind of keeping that one open. My guess is, just speculation.
Sure.
If they got into a game and they had to put the next guy in for some reason, I think they would probably just try Austin Mack first and see how that went. And then, Keelan Russell after that, if need be. But again, that's just speculation. So if you ask me to kind of paraphrase that, I would say probably Austin Mack would probably be number 2. And again, I don't think it's necessarily much difference at all. I just think it's just where the pecking order is right now.
All right, if everything played out perfectly, nobody gets injured, everybody's playing well at the quarterback position, does Keelan Russell get redshirted?
That is a good question. You can play 4 games in 4 games. And plus, I think, isn't the rule, you guys may be able to correct me on this, I should know it, but I think now once the playoffs start, you don't lose your red shirt. You can play in the red shirt. Okay.
That is correct.
They change these rules every year, so I want to make sure it's – so, I don't know, John. It's a hard question to answer. I would say this. Here's what I think. I'm not sure that kid, if he's as talented as they say he is, he's not going to probably be here more than 4 years anyway. Yeah. So, I don't know. That's a good question. But he's, the way they talk, they think he's a potential superstar. So we'll see.
Rodney, one of the things I do feel confident in saying, and I didn't realize this until we flashed a picture of it up on the screen, Jam Miller has not skipped bicep and tricep day in the weight room lately. Holy
no. That was pretty significant strides that he's made in the upper body. He's guys, we've been talking about this. They had a good summer. They did everything they were supposed to do. And this team has laid the foundation. And I think just what you said there, Jam Miller is kind of a poster boy for that, the way he's kind of beefed up a little bit. And, so Jam had a really good scrimmage Saturday. He ran with a lot of reckless abandon. I understand he ran with, showed some physicality, some power, some willingness to really slam it up in there and break some tackles. And another thing that I thought was interesting, John and Barry, was, this running game that they've had, at Washington and whatever, everyone talks about how it's a lot of traps, a lot of, pulls, this type of thing, outside runs. My understanding is they lined up and ran it downhill in this scrimmage. They lined up and did some man-on-man zone blocking, that kind of thing, hat on a hat, and some physical runs. And so Richard Young, Daniel Hill, again, we've mentioned him many times on this show. Daniel Hill had a really good showing. So they ran the ball well in the scrimmage.
Speaking of people who seem to have a little physique change, is it just my imagination, or has Kalen DeBoer lost some weight?
Yeah, he has. He just certainly has. I don't know, John. Barry. Once that season sets in, it seems like they start to gain it back. But he's trimmed down a lot. Sure has.
Yeah, I thought so too. I saw a clip of him. We were doing something for a preseason blitz we're doing on TV this weekend, and we showed a clip of him just on the practice field last season, and then we showed one this week, and I kind of looked at it and went, whoa, man, his upper body's kind of trimmed up and firmed up a little bit. I don't know. I just wondered if anybody else had seen noticed that.
John, he's got to be able to slip into that little nylon shirt that he was wearing.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was interesting. The announcement made Monday, and Coach Grubb took questions about Ty Simpson being named the starter. I think the Q&A with Coach Grubb was yesterday or the day before. Afterwards came Womack, the defensive coordinator, He said, I don't have anything that exciting. He says, I will tell you this. Deontay Lawson is our starting middle linebacker.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
He's evidently, obviously very productive, Deontay, but gosh, I keep hearing so many things about his intangibles, Rodney.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's been around, obviously a while. This is he's a leader on this defense. And so that's certainly really valuable. He's still wearing that big brace on his knee, but he's moving around well. He's moving and cutting. And I don't know how much that's going to, if that means maybe, they kind of take it easy on him earlier in the season, to allow him to work himself back. But, we'll see. I do know this. They feel really good about their depth there with Deontay, Justin Jefferson, who has blazing speed, by the way, and then Nakai Hill-Green, the transfer from Colorado.
Greg on our chat line, our River Region Straw chat line, wanted me to ask you about the kicking game.
Well, now that's another good question.
Good job, Greg.
Because we don't.
Wait a minute. Whoa, does Greg get the credit or do I get
it's credit? Yeah,
okay.
John's just reading. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
But yeah, so here's the thing. Connor Talty, place kicker. I know they've got, high expectations for him. He had a pretty good spring, but we don't get much from that in terms of we don't get to lay our eyeballs on them. If you ever see kickers, they're just out there just kind of kicking the ball around. And they're really somewhere where you don't even see them much. So hadn't seen much as far as what we've heard. There's been a lot of kind of, well, maybe it's not so good right now. They got a lot to prove in this, whether it's place kicking or the punting. But like I said, a couple of weeks ago, this came up, and I know they were pleased with Blake Dowd as the punter in the spring. They thought he had a really good spring. So we'll see with that. Now, Alex Esperoff is also a potential punter. He was a highly recruited kid that signed with him in this last class. So, we'll see. Let's just say that's to be determined.
Okay. Fair enough. Half credit maybe for just even bringing no.
This is what John used to do with his college professors whenever he was in one of those project groups and he never did any work. Can I at least get half?
Wait a minute! I planned out what bar we were going to go to talk about it and get it all organized. You kidding
John's
me?
Input.
Yeah,
for sure.
Is it too early to start talking about Florida State? We were talking to Jason Caldwell of Auburn Undercover earlier today about Auburn, and he was just talking about they're not going to put the Baylor package in until next week because you don't want the guys to get tired of it or bored of it. When will the Florida State game plan be put in, do you think?
Yeah, I would think that most college staffs kind of follow that same rule. They don't. I would say, let's see, it's usually maybe the latter part of next week they may start on that. Going into the game week, because it gives you a couple of extra days. So it's going to be interesting because, obviously Florida State has two new coordinators, one of them being Gus Malzahn, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how Alabama kind of, how that goes. That's going to be an interesting matchup. I think Florida State, though, and again, I need to look at them a little more closely as we get near the game. But based on things that I've come up with and looked at, they really appear to be a bunch of new guys, a lot of new guys that they filled in, transfer portal type guys and that type of thing. Now, that quarterback, Thomas Castellanos, he is a quarterback that definitely fits Gus Malzahn's system. He's athletic. He can move around really well. He's dangerous on the run, and he throws the ball. So he's going to be a good fit for Malzahn, I think.
So with all that being said, and my experience, you're exactly right. This is how they kind of apportion when they really start game week preparation. Preseason camp rolls to a close. So set up the next scrimmage for Alabama. What's at stake, would you imagine, in that one?
Well, that's, again, it's, I think it's, they want to continue to refine things. And here's the crazy thing. Everybody you talked to thought that first scrimmage was as smooth of a first scrimmage as they had ever seen. And so that's you just want to keep building on that, with consistency. They did not turn the ball over offensively in the scrimmage. None of the quarterbacks turned the ball over. That was real impressive.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. Yes.
Yeah. So the efficiency there in that first scrimmage was really good. Now, I guess if you're on the defensive side, you're saying, hey, guys, one of our top goals is to create turnovers, and we got none. So, again, it's give and take, as DeBoer always says. But, yeah, I think again, it's so important to stay healthy.
Yeah.
So staying injury-free, I think, is really important. But, I don't know that I've ever said something like this but it sounds like this team is about ready. I mean, I know that's a little premature, but, again, we're limited in what we see. So, but when you go on, guys who played in the NFL, and I even heard Greg McElroy this week say that he was kind of surprised at what he saw in terms of how smooth it was, how far along they were. So again, I think you just want to continue on that path. Now, I want to say this too, because you never know how it's all going to translate once the games start.
Yep.
And I still say the same thing about Ty Simpson that I said before this John and Barry, is we don't know how he's going to respond in the game. We still don't know. I mean, a scrimmage is not playing at Doak Campbell Field down there, Florida State, and think the bullets are flying and, the crowds are riled up. So anyway, I mean, I think there's still questions.
Rodney, I'm getting people, come on, Longshore, come on. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. All I'm hearing is good stuff, which is great. You want to hear good stuff. You don't want to hear bad stuff. I mean, there's a lot of positives coming out of Tuscaloosa. I'm feeling the giddiness from the fan base. Yeah. I just got to see it with my own two eyes.
Absolutely.
It's great to hear it, but I want to see it.
Well, here's the thing, John. It's every week. It's a week-to-week grind.
Yep.
And we didn't see that last year. And I understand it was a transitional year, that there was a lot of things going on. I understand all of those things. You kind of almost say, and Urban Meyer said this. He said that first year for a new staff, when it's an outside group coming in, you might as well just write that first year off in some ways, in terms of the results. So, okay, let's do that. But at the same time, I think the one thing we need to see this year is, do they play at a high level each week? And when I say a high level, obviously you're going to have some ups and downs, but you can't beat Georgia one week and lose to Vanderbilt the next. You can't, you can't play the game of the season against LSU and Baton Rouge and then totally flop against Oklahoma. So, I mean, those are the things I'm kind of looking for, is that consistency in performance.
I totally agree. I want to see it. And I'm with you. I think going into year two, that transition, the familiarity, a little bit more confidence, I think it's big. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to it.
Lots of stuff going on the website. I know it has been really, really busy this week with the announcement of the starting quarterback and a second scrimmage coming up. Tell us a little bit more about how people can sign on, how they can subscribe and be a part of it.
Right. Well, it's titerinsider.com. It's only $48 a year. You can get instant access with your credit card. If you prefer, there is an address there to send a check. And that gives you all our premium information, but also the All Sports Forum. That's our community there. A lot of exchange, a lot of information. I mean, just about anything that pops up as it relates to Alabama, the SEC, or college football, whatever. It's right there on titerinsider.com. And again, it's only $48 a year.
It is a value. I'm telling you right now, you're going to know everything you need to know about Crimson Tide athletics, preseason camp, future opponents. Heck, you can even find out stuff about other opponents at Tide Insider.
John and Barry, you might find out something about yourself.
You never know.
There ain't no doubt about that.
Some self-discovery out there. Excellent stuff. Rodney, appreciate you. Thanks.
Okay, guys. Greatly appreciate it. Take care.
Yeah, thank you as well. The Tider Insider, Rodney Orr, brought to you by this guy at the Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Go by and see them today. They're open there for you. The freshest seafood direct from the Gulf. And, of course, you can pick it up out of the showcase there. They'll ice it down. You can take it home with you, or if you call ahead, they'll prepare it for you. It's that easy. Just pull up to the drive-up window, 288-4272, the Destin Connection Seafood Market.
Tobias, man, he is off on Jalen Milroe again.
Yeah.
Tobias says, I don't have to see it to believe it, that Ty Simpson won't commit 17 turnovers this season.
Wow.
Is this another one where John has to pull out his cell phone and take a picture of that like he did from Bob from Pike Road earlier?
Tobias, I love it.
If Ty hits 17 turnovers, Tobias, we're going to bring that back up for you. Yeah.
So Tobias heard it. I heard it too. No turnovers in the scrimmage. I mean, okay, that's nothing to write home about, but it's a nice
for the
start.
first scrimmage. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. So no picks, no balls on the turf. I see Tobias working there, and turnovers are killers, and coaches absolutely cannot stand them. So you don't want to be turning the ball over. Now I'm saying that they'll probably turn it over 4 times in Tallahassee, but as of right now, Tobias, you're on to something. I'm with you.
If back in the old days, there was a program called Newhart, and they used to have a drinking game on college campuses where every time his name's Bob Newhart, not with us anymore. Whenever he got on the screen, and everybody in his dentist's office, he was a dentist, they said, "Hi, Bob." And anytime they said, "Hi, Bob," you had to take a drink. I think everybody this morning would have just been blitzed on Bloody Marys, or any Thursday morning on Bloody Marys or mimosas or whatever you would drink in the morning, every time you heard Rodney Orr talk about the need for consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency. He said that once. He said it 100 times about what the expectations for this team were. And he got off on a little bit of an example talking with us. I thought he presented it well. How do you beat Georgia and lose to Vanderbilt? How do you absolutely just look like you are disinterested in being in Norman, Oklahoma for a football game?
Yeah.
Consistent.
I think, can't be a double-digit favorite on the road and lose the game. And they're a double-digit favorite on the road in about a week and a half or so. So just put that in your pipe and smoke it. Barry, to my knowledge, Bob Newhart was not in black and white. It was in color.
Nope. You had Bob Newhart, then you had the second show. The first one was when he was a dentist. He had no, he wasn't a dentist. Jerry was a dentist. Jerry the dentist. Bob Newhart was a psychiatrist, and you had the receptionist and all that. That was in color, and then later on you had Bob and Suzanne Plachette, who was beautiful. They had this bed and breakfast in Vermont or something like that. So
that was just called Newhart.
There you go. That was called Newhart. The first was the Bob Newhart show.
Chris, I appreciate the kudos, but I got to go with 2.5 good questions because I'm not getting credit for the one Greg submitted.
See, and that's a little bit embarrassing that John would even lobby for that. Come on. That was too many times when he was in the project group in college where you'd have like 4 people in that group and they've got to have their project ready by 2 weeks left in the semester. And so they get together. You always have that one alpha wolf girl who would say, all right, I'll be in charge of research on this part of it. You be in charge on research on that part of it. You over there, you're going to be the guy who's going to make sure that it's well written and that you got all our visual aids. Now you, curly hit. Well, I do know that on Thursdays it's 2 for 1 over at the Crimson Bucket or whatever it is.
See?
So can we have our weekly meetings on Thursday? And Project gets an A. That girl gets an A. Those are 2 other guys gets an A. Here's Longshore, who keeps saying all his contribution during this meetings. Another round? Everybody good? He
got
gets
everybody
the same
here?
A they do. Yeah.
Did everybody come today? Everybody here? Good. Great.
Excuse me, barkeep, more pretzels here. We're out. Okay. That was his contribution to the whole thing. So you don't get credit for just reading Bama Greg's good question just because Rodney said it was a good question. So there we go. It's coming up. A little question here coming up. about the upcoming Phantom's Daily Dog.
Yes.
Which is next with
That's
Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. Riverbank and Trust.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Get some Bud!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
Oh, yeah, back at it here, Longshore and McKnight. I do remember Daryl and my other brother, Daryl. They were on the Newhart show.
That was on, that was on Newhart.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
And neither one of those Daryls spoke.
No.
Like ever.
No.
It was weird.
Wasn't it on Green Acres? The man and the woman had the same name?
Ralph,
yeah.
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 The woman was, she was a painter, but she was a terrible painter.
Yeah,
so there we go.
I buried the Phantom's Daily Dog yesterday. Well, let's just go ahead. It was a loser, but let me just explain a little bit.
See, what had happened was,
yeah, pretty much. All right, so we didn't get beat bad. It was a 1-0 game. I'm thinking, could you not scratch out at least a run at home and get this thing into extra innings? You never know what might happen.
Squeeze play or a pass ball or wild pitch or
something.
Geez.
The White Sox get 2 hits, but 0 runs. Detroit has 1 run. 1 run, top of the 6th. That's all they needed. They win the game 1-0. Whew, that was a tough one. We had our chances, but it didn't come out on our side. Okay. Okay. It happens. Those things happen. Now, today.
Here we go.
I got to explain a little bit here what we got going on today.
7 games in Major League Baseball.
That's right. Bayer, we're taking a game that the first pitch is at 2:07 this afternoon. There is
North
a game
of the border.
There is a game earlier than that at 12:05, but we're not interested in that one. 2:07 north of the border. You're right. Now, you're looking at it and you're saying, oh, wait a minute here. Both of these teams you're laying points here. You're laying the odds here. That is true. But you got to lay more with the visitor. The Chicago Cubs are -115 on the road.
At Toronto.
If you want the Blue Jays, you got to lay 105. Okay, we'll do that. We'll lay 105 with the home team. The visitors laying 115. Toronto is the underdog in this game.
What?
We're taking them at -105 against -115. Last I checked, 115 is more than 105. Yeah, I think it is. We don't want any part of the Chicago Cubs laying 115. We're taking the home team And my man, what's it? Scherzer?
Max Scherzer,
Yeah.
Hall of Famer. He'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
How about that?
Coming up.
Against Oil Can Boyd? Who's this guy?
Oil Can. How does John remember that guy for the Boston Red Sox? Matthew Boyd's having a good year. He's a big lefty. He's 11-5, great ERA. But Scherzer's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And
that's why that number's where if anybody else is on the mound today,
it'd be different, no question.
Toronto's at plus. But it's okay because we have got there again, the Cubs are favored here in this game. So we're taking Toronto. I don't want people to get confused.
No.
But Toronto at home, 2:07 first pitch. That is the Phantoms' daily dog. And we're going for it. So we need a winner, Barry. We've had 2 losses and a win this week. We can still have a winning week with a win tonight and a win tomorrow. So don't panic. We're good. We have 2 NFL games on Friday. Not that I'm going to pick an NFL game, just letting you know that. Got a full slate on Saturday, couple on Sunday, but more on that tomorrow.
Our tour around the SEC is getting real when we come back. We're checking in with our guys in Norman, Oklahoma. When we return, it's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Score big savings at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Prattville during the kickoff savings sales event. New 2025 Ram 1500s up to $21K off MSRP plus 3.9% APR for 72 months or 1.9% APR for 72 months. It's your choice. New 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokees up to $11K off MSRP. New 2025 Jeep Wranglers up to $14K off MSRP or 1.9% APR for 72 months. New 2025 Jeep Gladiators up to $13K off MSRP or 4.9% APR for 72 months. And Ram 2500s up to $14K off MSRP. Alabama and Northwest Florida's largest volume Ram dealer is in Prattville at Stivers CDJR, where Price sells cars, trucks, and SUVs. 2209 Cobbs Ford Road and at stiverscdjr.com. You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs. Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 28 minutes to the top of the hour. As Barry mentioned, our tour of the SEC continues. We're getting an update on every team around the league. And our man, Jack Shields, he's joined us before. He's back today to talk about the Oklahoma Sooners. Hey, Jack, good morning. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
We've got a lot of questions for you. In terms of preseason camp, other than don't be goofing around with how you label your Venmo payments to your buddies, what else have we learned in preseason camp at Oklahoma? What are the big notes?
The big notes are that, the things that bugged OU last year, the injuries at wide receiver, the ineptitude along the offensive line, the mistakes at the quarterback position, you can't get any worse than they were in those 3 areas last year, honestly. So you have nowhere to go but up, hopefully. But, with John Mateer at quarterback, people are pretty hopeful, of course. He's, Venmo transactions notwithstanding. But there's a lot of hope there. I mean, he's kind of evoking memories of Baker Mayfield a little bit with his kind of swagger. And now you can say his summer, off-field situations. But, people are really excited about him, of course, a guy who they think can avoid turning the ball over, a guy who can make plays with his legs, a guy who can kind of galvanize his teammates, of course. And then the offensive line, It's looking much healthier this year, a lot more experienced, and they've added some bodies as well. That's been a huge thing as well. There's been development there. And then at the wide receiver position, you're healthy at this point for the most part, which is a lot more than you had last year when you were out as many as 6, 7 of your top receivers at any point in the year. I mean, at best, they were down their top 4 or 5 at any point last year, which is, I mean, when you have a young quarterback and inexperienced offensive line and you're out 5, 6 wide receivers, not much you can do in the SEC on offense. So it should be much better as far as that's concerned. And then the defense has been terrific. So those have been the main notes through camp, and a lot of guys, young guys emerging, of course. You hear a lot of names like Cortland Guillory at cornerback, a true freshman who might get some serious playing time at quarterback, a guy who's 6'2", definitely has an SEC-ready body at 18 years old. It's just a matter of whether or not he has it in between the ears at 18 years old for the SEC. But, hope has been pretty high, coming into Norman this year. It's a do or die season for Brent Venables for sure. It's to say the least. If it's not a great season for Brent Venables, we're just doing this again next year. So we're just kind of in wait and see mode here in Norman.
Was it a surprise that Jackson Arnold transferred?
No, not even a little bit. There were a lot of things behind the scenes. One of the people he felt most comfortable with in Norman was Seth Luttrell, who was the offensive coordinator last year. He was the head coach at UNT in Denton. Jackson Arnold is from Denton Geyer, of course. There's a lot of family connections there. So, and he's no longer the offensive coordinator in Norman. And then everything that happened with him last year as well. It's being QB1 in Norman with who you have followed up. That is a pressure-packed situation, and he caught a lot of heat around here last year. Some justified, some maybe a little bit over the line, but it's a situation where you really can't blame him too much for the decision he made. And additionally, the new offensive coordinator, Ben Arbuckle, it's closer to an air raid situation, which doesn't necessarily fit Jackson's strengths as a football player. So it's a better fit where he's going, I think, with Hugh Freeze, and it's a fresh start. So I think we wish him well, of course, in Norman. He's a good kid, good family, everything like that, and a talented kid too. So we're other than when they come to Norman on September 27th, I think Sooner Nation is hoping that he gets things turned around.
I'm surprised, and so much has come out in camp and beforehand about John Mateer and what a difference maker they think he's going to be at quarterback. His numbers last year at Washington State were, they were insane. I'm surprised, Jack, a whole lot more people aren't talking about Jaden Ott, because Auburn fans, Jaden Ott at running back, golly, if you like a guy who's quick, who's, takes care of the football and has some experience to him, you got to like a guy like Jaden Ott, right?
Yeah, he's a big name, a guy who most college football fans are familiar with. I think maybe the hype is tempered a little bit just because last year his production was down, and it was due to the circumstances around him. He was dinged up a lot last year, so I believe he had only 600-ish yards from scrimmage last year, which for Jaden Ott is not up to his standard, of course. But he has a body of work, of course, where you've seen him make the highlight plays. You've seen him have big numbers. You've seen him sustain that for full seasons before. So it's a situation where people are really excited, especially about the fit, him coming into an air raid offense that uses the running backs as receivers out of the backfield from time to time. He's a guy who can go out wide and get something done. He's a guy who can catch a ball out of the backfield, a guy who can make people miss, of course. So it just seems like a match made in heaven. But I would say that the expectations nationally are maybe tempered a little bit just because of the numbers last year, which are probably misleading.
Talking Oklahoma football with our man Jack Shields covering the Sooners. Jack, there again, I'm feeling it as well. A lot of hype, a lot of optimism, a lot of excitement about this year's team. And I'm looking at the schedule. Michigan week 2, certainly winnable. It's home in Norman. At Temple, I find that's interesting. They're traveling to Temple. Auburn, of course, in late September. But in looking at that schedule, Jack, I could see Oklahoma undefeated going into that Texas game on October the 11th.
I think that is the expectation, of course. I think anything less than that, people would be very disappointed in. Just a little side note, that Temple game, the third week of the season, that is OU's first ever game played in the Northeastern United States. So
wow.
out of 130 years of football, they've never gone up north, to the Northeast. So that's going to be an interesting game, played at the Philadelphia Eagles Stadium. Of course, that's where Temple plays. So plenty of OU fans up there, I'm sure. So, OU alumni who happen to live up there, they've never been treated to an OU game up there. So that's going to be a big deal for sure. But, Auburn, I think, of course, if Jackson Arnold can put it together for Auburn, he's got the pieces around him there. So he's going to, of course, be motivated coming back to Norman. So that's one where it could be tough. But, of course, OU fans are going to expect a win there. Michigan, it's a bit of an unknown because they've got the young quarterback, the $8 million NIL quarterback up there. But he's a freshman going up against Brent Venables, who's had an entire offseason to prepare for him. So I think OU fans are expecting a win there as well. Other than that, you've got Illinois State, Kent State, no disrespect to them, but those should be no contest, of course. So, I think heading into Texas 5-0 is absolutely the expectation.
You mentioned this, and I want to follow up on this. Brent Venables, how hot is his seat? 6-7 last year. It's been disappointing, but I think a lot of it, just giving him credit, probably more credit, it's just been bad luck for a lot of those.
That's been part of it. I think, last year, of course, you had a lot of things that were out of his control, but then there were a few things that were in his control that, he fell short on. One would have been the hiring of Seth Luttrell as his offensive coordinator heading into last year. He was an in-house guy. He won the 2000 national championship with OU. He was an analyst on the staff already, had some experience at North Texas as the head coach and as the OC at North Carolina and Indiana. In hindsight, he should have absolutely done a national search for an offensive coordinator and done his due diligence there instead of just kind of taking the easy road and just hiring a guy who he was familiar with. It's a situation that went south quickly. Seth is a good guy. People love him. He's a good football coach, but he was not suited for the situation that was thrown at him last year. He was not the guy to help mitigate the concerns that were there and not the guy to help maximize the very few strengths that were there for the offense last year. Additionally, there's game management concerns. Brent, he runs a good program culture. You don't see a lot of guys getting in trouble off the field, which is, if you're familiar with OU football, that's a bit of a departure from the history of OU football. So that's been kind of nice. The team loves him. They play for each other, but it's fallen a bit short as far as in-game decision-making and game management is concerned. And this year, he is actually delegating that task to others on the staff and focusing on the defense this year. So there's hope that where he was falling short a year ago is being rectified this year with him sort of delegating that, focusing solely on the defense. But as far as the hot seat's concerned, it's very hot. He has the tools to save his job this year. He's got the quarterback. He's got a defense that should be as good as last year's, or if not better. He can get it done even with the tough schedule, but 9-3 or better, he keeps his job. 7-5 or worse, he's out. 8-4 is the tricky one. If he goes 8-4, it's going to depend on the how of it all. If they go 8-4 and they get run out of the building in the Cotton Bowl against Texas and have some, embarrassing losses for those other three, then it's going to be a tough conversation at the end of the year. But if they, pull off a big win against Texas and go 8-4, or pull off a big win against LSU at the end of the year and go 8-4, that's a different story. So it's going to depend on the context of all of it. But that is that benchmark right there is 8-4. So it's pretty cut and dry as far as the expectations are concerned.
I just want to make real clear. We're talking about Brent Venables, not Hugh Freeze. Because I've heard the same.
He's on the hot seat as well.
I've heard the same things. Yeah.
I don't know that people. I mean, I know the expectations are high in Auburn. I don't know that people are necessarily expecting 8-4 or better at Auburn. But if he doesn't make a bowl game again this year, he's out.
Yeah. We're a year into it, over a year into it. Oklahoma fans still happy about being in the SEC?
Yeah, I'd say happy about being in the SEC. You know, last year's concerns, everything that was going against them last year, they weren't winning games in the Big 12 with what was happening last year. You know, it was a situation where, you know, if you're down all your wide receivers, if your offensive line is completely decimated and has no experience, and your quarterback is turning it over at record numbers, the competition, I mean, they almost lost to Houston last year. So, I mean, the SEC, the schedule was a gauntlet, obviously, but I think people take comfort in the fact that that wasn't the main concern last year. It was OU's problem was OU last year. So I think people do love it because, I mean, look at the schedule OU has at home this year. If you have season tickets for OU football, you have Michigan coming in, of course. Right. You have Auburn coming in. You have Ole Miss coming in. You have Mizzou coming in, and you have LSU coming in. You're comparing this to having Iowa State, TCU, schools like that. It definitely moves the needle more. It gets people more excited for the games week to week because it is a gauntlet from week to week. You know, people are excited about that. And if they can actually get the ball rolling and actually get some things done, then the hype is really going to start building.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what everyone's hoping for. You got a little small taste of that with the Alabama game last year. That was the most raucous I've seen a crowd in Norman since it had probably been a decade since we had seen something like that. And that was for a team that ended up 6-6 OU, you know, so it's a situation where the needle is being moved more by the competition, and people are confident that if they can get this going on the right track and actually become competitive in the SEC, that things are going to head in the right direction moving forward. And this move will have paid off more than just financially.
Excellent. Well put. Jack, we appreciate it. Thanks so much for the time and for all of the insights. We'll keep checking in with you, buddy, to keep tabs on what's going on in Norman. Thank you.
Anytime, guys. Have a good one.
You too, buddy. Thank you so much. Man, what great insight there, Barry. Jack Shields covering Oklahoma. A lot of great info and going to be a great season. I know there's a lot of excitement out there in Norman.
Did you think we were going to get, you viewers, you listeners, did you think we were going to get through with it without a little snark about Hugh Freeze? Come on. Come on. Yeah, I know it's Oklahoma. It's 3 states over. They were 6-7 last year. We get this guy on. He's a new guy because it's a new, it's a new team in the league. Kind of like the cut of his jib. John says, I'm going for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
there were a
like
couple of opportunities.
Candidate to enjoy a good Hugh Freeze burn.
You know,
I'm throwing it out there. See how he reacts.
Here's why I wanted to jump in, but I held on, Barry. I bit my lip.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Self-Discipline.
When Jack mentioned the lack of off-the-field issues in Norman, I wanted to jump in and say, well, that ain't the case somewhere else, but I didn't do it.
And early on when he mentioned we had so many, I asked him, what went wrong last year? And he said, well, we had a lot of mistakes at quarterback. And John's like, can't say it yet. Have to wait till later in the interview.
I bit my lip.
I did.
But for that last one, I just couldn't hold it. I got it. I got to here. But great stuff.
Yeah.
Talking about Oklahoma. Tomorrow, Barry, we'll continue our tour around the SEC. So I got a view to see who we got tomorrow lined up as we continue our tour. But we are making our way around the conference and certainly excited about that. When we return, Barry, I believe it is Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. We'll get to that. We've had some good ones this week on the wheel.
You never know what the people like. Really good sports stuff, things you may have missed, but also every once in a while a bear in a swimming pool. You never know what you're going to get with Gurn, but that's coming up next with Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
All righty, welcome back in. About 10 minutes to go, Barry. I want to mention our good friends at Mosquito Authority. Hey, the mosquitoes are still out there. They're biting you. They're pesky. They're annoying. Drives me berserk. Well, I don't have to deal with that anymore, Barry, because my friends at Mosquito Authority were spraying the property yesterday, took care of business. I can enjoy my outdoor activities. You can too. Get rid of those pesky mosquitoes. Check them out at bugsbite.com or dial them up 648-0936. That's 648-0936. Tell them John and Barry sent you, and new customers get half off their first spray at Mosquito Authority.
All right, here we go. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel presented by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too. Ooh,
That's
little
right.
scrum is there? Man, little scrum. That sounds dirty. Plenty of stuff on the topic wheel today. What do you say we get to it?
Let's do it.
Gernsby.
What could it be on the topic wheel?
Little scrum.
Is this little scrum?
That reminds me of the WKRP in Cincinnati. Oh yeah. This wasn't no little scrum. Michael Penix Jr. right in the middle of it. They had big time yesterday when they had a
beautiful
joint scrimmage against the Titans, Falcons and the Titans. There's a little trash talking, Ray McLeod, a little trash talking, then it got physical. Penix got thrown to the ground. You don't do that.
Ooh.
You don't do that. Penix is okay.
Yeah, he's good.
But I took a little look at some of the video. You know, they film everything.
Sure.
And there was, football fights. Nobody gets hurt in a fight unless you're stupid enough to take your helmet off. But, punching somebody in the helmet makes no sense. But there was, it was not a little one.
Great.
It was a pretty big scrum.
Beautiful. Love it. If you watch Hard Knocks, they'll show that stuff, which was really what I liked about Hard Knocks. These two teams play tomorrow night, I believe. In Atlanta. Let me check my NFL preseason schedule. Yep, that's right. 6 o'clock NFL Network. Wonder if there'll be a fight during the game. But you get into a scrimmage situation between two teams in August in Atlanta. It's hot as hell. I'm going to tell you, there's going to be a fight.
Yeah. And that's what's been happening all over NFL camps. I mean, you're fighting for your life. You want to be competitive because, if you make an NFL roster, that's a lot of money and you get more attention and all that. If you don't, man, you're bagging groceries at the Quickie Save or something.
Yeah, that's right.
2 NFL games tomorrow night. 6 o'clock, John mentioned that one. 9 o'clock is the Chiefs and the Seahawks. They are both eligible for tomorow's Phantom Daily Dog. Okay, here we go. Little
all right.
That's a good
That's a good one. I like that. All right. Let's get the wheel spinning again. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, exit 22 off I-85, Shorter, Alabama.
Don't you guys say it. Not talking about us. No.
Come on. Pretty old.
She's at the U.S. Open. She gets a wild card. Venus Williams. Oldest singles entrant in 44. She's 45 years old.
Ooh.
Renee Richards, it says right there, stop there. Renee Richards was 47 of the time of her
Whoa. Wait a minute. Her or his?
There you go. See, there you go. John knows. Renee Richards was a transsexual.
That's right. Like the first I'd ever heard of.
Many times, for the vast majority of life, Renee Richards was Dr. Why do I know this? Dr. Richard Raskind, who was
I remember going
in Scarsdale, New York. She had the sex change, or he had the sex change, and became Renee Richards. And at 44, she got into the women's draw at the U.S. Open. And everybody was raising all kinds of holy heck because she's a man. Well,
that's
she
right.
was a man for a long time. Turns out she wasn't a really good tennis player. So
so I remember going, "Hey, Dad, now explain this to me. How did this?" And he looked at me and goes, "Go ask your mother." That was one of those he just didn't want to talk about. And this, how long ago was that, Barry? 40 years ago? Maybe 50?
44 years ago.
Yeah, geez. So I was a little tired. I was a little phantom back then.
There we go. All right, here we go.
4 more to go. We can get them in red, yellow, blue, and green. Where will it land? You know what I mean?
Free beef.
Free, not from where's the beef to free beef. What do we got?
Free beef. This could be anything. There we go. Yeah, the Brewers, for the second time this year, have won 12 in a row. They are absolutely just killing everybody.
Yep.
And nobody knew that they were going to be any good. George Webb Burgers.
Never heard of them.
George Webb Burgers. They're not available right away. We got to make a special order and everything. They're not ready right away. Special giveaway date. All of the people who were there with the Brewers win yesterday, they won 12 in a row. They're killing everybody. They got one of the lower payrolls in Major League Baseball. Yesterday. And that means free burgers from George Webb. I don't know George Webb from George Peterson, but
Sloan Peterson. Wait a minute, Theodis, you don't like, what do you got against Whataburger? I think Whataburgers are pretty good. I do like the In-N-Out.
Yeah.
Now, In-N-Out
Whataburger is all that.
All right. What else we got? Let's go.
We're on a roll. I like
3,
this.
No kidding.
All right.
No green panel today. I'm telling you, I've noticed that.
Switched it around. I like that.
I do too. Big deal. Well, we know we're a big deal, but what else could this be? Whoa.
Oh, yeah. Bill Chisholm, he's the owner of some other franchise. I think he's the Carolina Hurricanes or something.
Yep.
Bill Chisholm. Did they name that section of Montgomery after him?
Spelled differently, I think.
Okay. $6.1 billion for the Celtics. The record was 6.05 for the Washington Commanders. It's interesting because they came out with a valuation the other day on the most valuable franchises in professional sports.
Yeah.
Number 1,
Yankees.
Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys. Wow.
Dallas Cowboys valued at something around $14 million.
No.
The Los Angeles Rams were number 2 at 12.
Got to be more than 14 million.
Billion with a B.
Billion.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I
mean, if they're 14 million, I'm getting everybody I can get together. We're going to buy the Cowboys.
Yeah, those same people that John got together to buy $100 Iron Bowl tickets, he's getting them to buy the Cowboys.
That's right.
They need. Yep. All right, here we go. Couple more.
All right. 2 to go. Their Kansas color scheme. Talking about the Jayhawks a lot lately.
Yeah.
Victoryland 777 top. Not enough.
Yep. Shohei, he pitched again last night. Again, he's the best hitter in the major leagues, and they keep telling me if he got to pitch regularly, he'd be the best pitcher in the major. Throws 101 and tripled. Season high 4 and a third innings pitched. But the Dodgers, man, what's happened to the Dodgers?
Come on. What is going on?
They do have the biggest payroll in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
The Brewers are better. The Dodgers are a game back of the Padres in first place. They've lost 4 games in a row. Even the Brewers, as aforementioned, they've won 12 games in a row. Dodgers lose again. Shohei can't do everything. They have swept that Subway Series. The Angels have beaten the Dodgers in every game.
Where's the Phantom been on that? Come on.
Kidding.
Jeez.
Yep. It's a good one. It's a good one.
That's a good one. Last one on the board. We got to spin it to make it official.
Did you ever hear of like Pat Trammell or Major Ogilvy having an oblique strain or anything?
I don't
think they had obliques back then.
I don't believe they did.
Shador has an oblique injury during a joint practice with the Eagles. Joint practice means that they're practicing against each other, not that they're practicing with joints.
Well, probably after the game.
Yeah, maybe so.
What part of the body is the oblique?
I couldn't. Is it like your abs? Is it like over there in front of your ribs or something? Yeah, Gern knew that we were going to ask that. There they are. It's by your ribs. The obliques.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you got some pictures of where a groin injury is,
no, we can't do that. No, let's not have that.
I've always wondered where is that actually injury?
Yeah, the girls have groins. I've wondered that too.
I guess so. Yeah.
We've got pretty good energy on the show today. Love Jason Caldwell's segment, auburnundercover.com. Of course, Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com, presented by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Like Jack Shields, John, I think we're going to hear a little bit more on this program in the future from Jack Shields from Oklahoma.
Doubt about it. Great stuff from Jack. Really enjoyed his appearance today. We'll get him on. Of course, hey, Oklahoma's playing both Auburn and Alabama, so
that's right.
We'll certainly have him on before those games. They sure did. No kidding. All right, Barry, tomorrow we're at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where Price sells cars. The big kickoff savings sales event going on right now. We'll tell you all about it. Our tour of the SEC will continue tomorrow as well. We got a lot going on, so we're excited about tomorrow's show just as we were about today's.
Yep, we appreciate everybody being with us here. For John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight, producer Gern Jr. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.